Here's my take on why there's so many transactions right now before free agency hits. It's because the free agent market is so mediocre right now. There's no one
mediocre.
Yeah. Exactly. That's what I was trying to say, Jules. Just like my speaking skills, mediocre, but that's okay.
Yeah. Oh man, Chris Godwin got $66 million, 44 guaranteed.
Really? That just happened? Did that just go down right now? From who? The Tampa
Not
Bay.
Right now, but that's
from the Tampa Bay Bucks, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense. But Chris Godwin, I would actually say
he left $20 million on the table.
Really? How do you leave $20 million on the table?
Pats offered him $20 million more.
Oh, geez. But I mean, why would you, switch up your scenario? I mean, you're with the Bucks, you know the offense, you got Baker Mayfield, Tampa, just a great city overall. You got the weather. You've been familiar with it for your whole entire career.
Weather's everything, and he's getting older, I think. Just when you're that old, when you've been in a place for so long, and that money's probably not that much more. It probably was $20 million on a non-guaranteed. He could have earned more money. I'm sure they got it close to the guarantee. There's no way you want to go learn a new offense, learn a new system, uproot your family. Like that's a great move for him. Miles, like with what you were saying, I agree. A lot of these signings are probably like the Max Crosby, Myles Garrett, Josh Allen. Those are some of the best players. So I bet you those teams did that before free agency, because that number is probably going to go even that much higher the longer they wait for those three guys. Max Crosby, Josh Allen, Myles Garrett. Those three guys, those teams have to get them done. And I think they're also probably trying to create a little cap space with the Bills, extending them, because they get to prorate that contract over those next 5 years as well. So I think he's going to be a less of a hit, even though he's getting a contract extension for these next couple years.
Mm-hmm.
Josh Allen. Mm-hmm. I don't know for a fact, but that's what it kind of looks like. I don't know. What were you going to say, Rob?
I was going to say that's back to my point. You see these teams taking care of the guys that are the best in the league right now instead of waiting for free agency to pick someone up, because they're realizing, hey, we already have the best player at that position in the league. Why are we going to go get free agency and sign a guy when we can sign our guy that should be on this team for good? And that's what the Raiders did with Max Crosby. That's what the Buffalo Bills did with Josh Allen. The Cleveland Browns did that with Myles Garrett, which was a really kind of contradictory situation. How do you say that word? Contradiction situation, Jules, with that, because Myles Garrett asked for a trade to a contender, and then he signed the biggest deal in NFL history of a non-QB. I kind of want to hear his explanation with that when he gets asked that, by the media.
Smart.
He's going to be asked that. Did he just say that to use that as leverage?
Maybe.
Or did he really want to go to a contender? Because if he wanted to go to a contender, I don't think the Cleveland Browns are in the position to contend for a Super Bowl, Jules. And then
I think that he wanted to get out of there, and they just said, "No, here's $30 million a year. Shut up and stay."
Now he can just take
35.
He can take a private jet out of there whenever he wants. Now, whenever he has a day off, he has 24 hours off. He can get out of there, and it won't even affect his bank account anymore. Those BJs, that's how much money he's making. And then Chris Godwin. I mean, back to my free agency. He was the best wide receiver in the free agency class coming up, but he never even hit free agency to really think about it, because that starts Wednesday. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers just signed him already because they were smart. They knew they shouldn't let him go. And what makes him so special is that he's so consistent as well. He's such a great teammate, on the field, great teammate off the field, just a great overall guy. He works hard. He goes out to practice with a purpose to get better, to know what he has to do. He's very, very reliable whenever his number is called, and he knows how to make big plays in big moments as well. It's just very unfortunate what happened to him last year with that injury, with a couple, minute or two left in the game when they're getting blown out. But that's just football. That happens. But it's good to see him back in Tampa. He deserves to retire as a Tampa Bay Buccaneer for everything that he has done for the community here and for the team. And just Chris Godwin, congratulations, man, on that contract.
Shout out to Tampa Bay for taking care of a player that he got hurt.
Mm-hmm. Well,
I remember a couple times I got hurt.
Yeah, that didn't really go your way, Jules.
It didn't go. We weren't back in those. I guess they didn't pay then. How about Tommy getting Geno Smith?
I think that kind of makes sense,
Bridge quarterback.
Yeah, and then also you got Pete Carroll as the head coach there, and Pete Carroll is the one who brought Geno Smith in and kind of gave him that second chance and made his second chance a resurrection, on his quarterback career. And now he got traded to the Raiders, so he's teaming back up with Pete Carroll. So I think it's a good situation.
Chip Kelly can use him.
Chip
Kelly's OC.
Chip Kelly, he's the OC. Wow, I didn't know that. So I knew he was at Ohio State, won that national championship, and then he was also the head coach at UCLA, because I know that because he was in my bowl game, the LA Bowl, and he won it 2 years ago. But Chip Kelly's all over the place. I think Chip Kelly's a guy that has enough experience, that knows how to handle any quarterback in any situation.
So I think, this is a good trade. They don't have a fucking quarterback under roster.
Mm-hmm.
So, you have third round pick. You know what you're getting with Geno Smith. He'll be a guy that, can get the offense going, but also he's not an asshole, it looks like, with other quarterbacks. So if they draft someone or they get he has fought. He has fought a player on his team. Remember the Jets? He fought one of the guys, but he grew up a lot after that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's grown up, and he's a completely different player from that. But he brings at least someone that can run an NFL operation they have no one. They don't have anyone. So, I think that was a great pickup. I'm still interested to see what they do in the draft. Raiders are getting to become excited. I think the Rams getting Devontae Adams, that could be sneaky really good. They struggled in the red area. He's a really good red area target. Him and Puka are going to be fun. Puka Nacua, he's going to be able to – I think this is going to make Puka better, because you get to learn from, a guy like Devontae Adams who, he's a pro. He's been in there for a while. I got to hang out with Puka at the Pepsi event at the Super Bowl, and he was such a cool kid. Just like, he's a Vegas bro, works hard. Think we were ripping a vape together. He's just fun. He was just a fun dude that you could tell he loves to work hard. He's fucking young. He's got a lot of energy.
Bro.
My type of guy. And he could hoop, and he's poly. He lives right down the street. I got to get Puka to the house. I got to get him to the nut house.
Bro, right before you just told that story about you meeting him at the Super Bowl, I was literally just going to say the same thing, that I met Puka Nacua, at the Kay Adams show at the Super Bowl this year. And we were in the back room together in the green room. And man, let me tell you, I love that guy, Jules.
Yeah.
He might be my favorite wide receiver in the NFL now, dude. He was just a dude's dude. And he was just so cool. He was laid back. He was a free spirit. I really wish that he was on the New England Patriots.
But he likes to work.
Yeah, he loves to work.
You can tell he likes to work.
Obviously, you don't become that, that solid on the field without working hard. But also, he loves to have fun too, and he just seems like he's got, the right chip on his shoulder, and just his head straight as well. He would have been great, bro. He would have been the best. Man, I love it. I love meeting him.
The Fook was we called a house in Foxborough the Fook, where we were all younger players at the time, and we all used to congregate and hang out after fucking spring meetings. We played cornhole, we'd gamble, we'd go, do stupid shit. The Fook is where it was at, and he is a fucking Fook member for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Dane Fletcher, Nico Kudavides, Shane Vereen, Ventrone, Gronk. We'd always make fun of Ninkovich.
Nico was the outcaster, always trying to get in.
Ninkovich would we'd be having a little shindig at the Fook, And Ninko would come with this big-ass Great Dane. He'd be walking around at like 9:30 at night. He'd be like, hey, guys, Paige is sick. I'm on a walk. Give me a shot. Let me get a shot. Remember, he would snack 3 shots. Yeah. He's like, all right, Paige is going to kill me. I got to go. And he'd go walk home. And then 2 hours later, he'd come back with the dog. He's like, yeah, I'm taking the dog to take a shit right now. He'd rip another shot. Then he'd go back to his house. I'm like, Ninko, let's go, Ninko. What are we doing?
It's the same old Ninko to this day.
Same old Ninko.
To this
but
day.
Puka looks like a guy that would have been in the Fook.
Yeah.
He would have been in the Fook.
100%. Puka, keep it up, my man. Keep it up.
Oh, Pat's making some moves, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Pat's making some moves, spending some of that guap, that Gouda, that cheddar.
All right, Jules, I got a question real quick, though. So today's Monday. Free agency technically doesn't start till Wednesday, but is today the day that they can start talking to the teams?
I think it's the tampering period.
Yeah, it's where you can talk to the teams and come up with an agreement on a contract, but technically you're not allowed to sign it until Wednesday. Is that how it works officially?
I believe so. The legal tampering period is 310 to 312. It's the stupidest rule ever. They basically make the contract 2 days before free agency.
All right.
But it is what it is. Pats are signing guys. Carlton Davis, 3 years, $60 million, 34.5 guaranteed. Played with you in Tampa. Is that a good signing?
Yeah, that's a great signing. Carlton Davis still has some, left in the tank, no doubt about that. And when I got down to Tampa, I didn't know who Carlton Davis was. He was young. He was a young buck, just trying to make a name for himself. And I was literally like, who is this DB that we got on the roster? He's tall. He's a little bit skinny, but he has that thump to him, He has that strength to him. Not necessarily weight room strength, but he has that football strength. Like
leverage. Yeah. Long leverage strength.
And those are the hardest DBs, I believe, to get open versus that are taller, skinnier, lengthy, but are quick too. And that's what Carlton Davis brings to the table is those, traits right there. So that's a really good signing by the New England Patriots. And that's going to be a duo right there. Christian Gonzalez and Carlton Davis lined up at the defensive back position for the New England Patriots in the backfield. Let me tell you, they're not going to be a lot of teams throwing on these guys.
That's two good corners. And then they also got, Harold Landry, edge rusher. If you get a guy to get a little pressure on that quarterback, that's when the interceptions come flying, when you have a good secondary. So, he's a Vrabel guy, played with Vrabel in Tennessee, 3 years, $43.5 million, 26 guaranteed. Ooh. And then I think this is a really good signing, the Morgan Moses signing, 3 years, $24 million. Veteran right tackle, started 14 games last year with the Jets. I expect that they got to get more line. Anytime you're adding to the line, young quarterback, it's like cowbell, more line. We need more cowbell, more line, more line, more line. The game, look at all the greatest teams last year. They all had the best offensive lines. Philadelphia, Detroit, the Lions had a young offensive line that they've been developing that has become very good in the run game. They're not in that same category, but the Chiefs, they had a really good offensive line, makeshift at the end because they got banged up. But that's why they've had a lot of success. You got to have a great offensive line. So I like Pat's getting more linemen. We'll talk more free agency when the dust settles. Because it hasn't even started technically legally, but it has started technically legally, but we don't know the rules, but it's weird.